The world of live entertainment possesses a unique, almost ethereal magic that cannot be replicated by any digital medium or recorded track. When thousands of people gather beneath the cavernous roof of a massive arena, they are not merely attending an event. They are participating in a collective ritual of shared memory and emotion. For decades, the concert stage has served as a sanctuary where time seems to stand still, allowing generations of fans to connect with the soundtracks of their youth, their romances, and their deepest life experiences. The atmosphere inside these monumental venues is always charged with an electric sense of anticipation, a palpable hum of energy that builds from the moment the doors open until the house lights finally fade into darkness. This collective heartbeat of the crowd represents a powerful bond between the performer and the audience, an unspoken agreement that, for the next few hours, nothing else in the world matters except the music. It is a testament to the enduring power of artistic expression that even in an era dominated by fleeting digital trends, the raw, unfiltered experience of a live performance remains an unmatched pinnacle of human connection. The stage becomes a platform for legends, individuals who have spent their entire lives perfecting the craft of captivating an audience. Carrying the immense weight of expectation on their shoulders with a grace that looks entirely effortless to the untrained eye, to maintain a career that spans multiple decades requires more than just raw talent. It demands an extraordinary level of dedication, resilience, and an unwavering commitment to the legions of followers who buy tickets year after year. These legendary performers become fixtures in our cultural landscape, their voices woven into the very fabric of our personal histories, accompanying us through milestones both joyful and sorrowful. As these icons age, their willingness to embark on grueling multi-city tours becomes a profound gift to their audience, a display of passion that defies the natural passage of time. However, the sheer physical toll of executing a high-energy arena show is immense, requiring boundless stamina and a flawless command of the stage that can test even the most seasoned veterans of the industry. The glittering lights and thunderous applause often mask the intense focus and physical strain happening behind the scenes, where the human element of performance occasionally collides with the grand illusion of effortless showmanship. It is precisely these raw, deeply human moments within the world of entertainment that remind us of the vulnerability behind the fame, capturing our collective empathy and making us appreciate the sacrifices made by those who lived to perform. Before we look closer at how one monumental night took an entirely unexpected turn under these bright arena lights, take a brief moment to support our channel by subscribing, ensuring you never miss our deep dives into the defining moments of music history and the lives of the icons who shape our world. The setting for this unfolding narrative was the grand and modern expanse of the Grand Casino Arena located in St. Paul, Minnesota, a venue known for hosting some of the most vibrant gatherings in the region. On this particular Wednesday evening, the atmosphere was dialed up to an entirely new level of intensity as the arena played host to the spectacular opening night of a highly anticipated joint tour. The marquee outside promised a celebration of monumental proportions, pairing the timeless horn-driven funk and soul of an iconic group with the smooth, romantic brilliance of a legendary solo hitmaker whose career helped define the golden eras of popular music. Fans had traveled from all across the region, packing the seats to absolute capacity, their voices merging into a roar of excitement that echoed through the concourses long before the show even commenced. The first half of the evening delivered exactly what was promised, a masterclass in rhythm and showmanship that left the audience breathless and yearning for more as the stage was reset for the second headliner. There was an absolute certainty in the air that this night would go down in history as a triumphant launch of a 26-city journey across the nation. A spectacular reminder of why these artists remain unmatched in their ability to command a crowd. The transition between the acts was filled with the familiar, restless energy of an audience riding a musical high, eagerly awaiting the arrival of the man whose ballads and upbeat anthems have provided the definitive soundtrack to countless lives for over half a century. When the main artist finally took the stage, the reception was nothing short of ecstatic. A wall of sound greeting a performer who has spent his life basking in the adoration of global audiences. Moving gracefully to his position, the veteran showman began delivering the beloved hits that the crowd had been waiting to hear, his voice carrying the familiar warmth and emotional depth that has made him a household name across the globe. Yet, as the set progressed and the initial wave of adrenaline began to settle, a subtle shift in the atmosphere slowly started to manifest within the cavernous room. Watchers close to the front began to notice small, almost imperceptible changes in the performer's usual fluid movement, slight pauses between verses, and a reliance on the physical support of the stage elements that seemed uncharacteristic for a veteran of his caliber. The grand illusion of the unstoppable, ageless music icon began to crack ever so slightly, revealing a quiet struggle unfolding beneath the brilliant spotlight and behind the sweeping melodies. While the music continued to play and the band maintained their flawless rhythm, a creeping sense of unease began to filter through the front rows of the audience. An unspoken realization that this opening night was departing from the carefully rehearsed script. The unfolding tension grew thick and heavy, transforming a night of pure celebration into a gripping, real-time drama that left thousands of onlookers holding their breath, waiting to see what would happen next as the boundary between the spectacle of the show and the vulnerability of the artist blurred completely. The unfolding tension reached a critical point during the performance of the high-energy anthem Dancing on the Ceiling, a track traditionally associated with vibrant choreography and unstoppable stage presence. On this night, however, the energetic number became a visual testament to the performer's physical struggle as eyewitnesses and fan-shot video footage captured a deeply concerning sequence of events. The 77-year-old artist, known for his charismatic footwork and ability to engage every corner of a stadium, appeared visibly unsteady as he attempted to navigate the expansive stage. Instead of his characteristic confident strides, his movements were cautious and heavy, signaling to those watching closely that something was going terribly wrong beneath the bright arena lights. In a moment that stunned the audience, the singer abruptly stopped his movement across the stage and sat down on the edge of a large, stepped platform built into the set design. For a brief period lasting less than 10 seconds, he remained seated, trying to gather his strength while continuing to deliver his vocals without relying on any pre-recorded guide tracks or backing tracks. He then forced himself back up to his feet, attempting to push through the visible wave of physical distress and continue the performance for his dedicated followers. Unfortunately, the respite was brief, and less than 30 seconds later, he was forced to cross to the opposite side of the stage and sit down once again on the risers, unable to maintain his balance while standing during these agonizing moments. The singer openly communicated his vulnerability to the thousands of fans watching in stunned silence, explicitly telling the crowded arena that he was experiencing a severe bout of dizziness. He attempted to use his legendary wit and decades of stage experience to soften the blow, explaining to the audience that when you have spent as long in the entertainment business as he has, you learn to listen to your body. He noted that if you feel dizzy or if something simply does not feel right, the only sensible thing to do is to sit down, adding a slightly sharper and more colorful piece of advice to emphasize his point. Despite his efforts to keep the mood light and maintain the professional flow of the concert, the physical reality of the situation could not be hidden from the spectators. Recognizing the escalating crisis, his longtime saxophonist and band member Dino Soldo walked over and took a seat on the risers directly alongside the struggling frontman, offering a silent gesture of support and solidarity as the song drew to a close. The artist managed to transition to his piano bench for the next number, which was the timeless and emotionally charged ballad, 3 Times a Lady. Sitting at the instrument provided a temporary safe haven, allowing him to deliver the song while seated, but it was clear to everyone in attendance that this was no longer a standard performance, but a battle of endurance that was rapidly reaching its absolute limit. Immediately following the final notes of the ballad, the singer announced an unexpected intermission to the crowd. Walking off the stage to seek medical attention and leaving a wave of confusion whispering through the arena. The highly decorated backing band remained on the stage for several minutes, attempting to maintain a sense of normalcy, but they too eventually filed off into the wings as the realization set in that the situation backstage was serious. For the next 40 minutes, a heavy, anxious silence hung over the Grand Casino Arena as thousands of fans remained in their seats, staring at the empty stage and waiting for any update regarding the condition of their beloved musical idol. The initial excitement of the tour's opening night had completely evaporated, replaced by a collective sense of worry that rippled through the concourse and onto social media platforms where attendees began sharing videos and real-time updates. The long delay without any official announcement only served to heighten the tension as people debated whether the show would resume or if the medical emergency would force a premature end to the evening. Fans who had looked forward to this night for months found themselves caught in a state of suspended animation. Watching the clock tick away while hoping for a positive update about the health of a man who had given so much of himself to the music world over his historic career, the agonizing period of uncertainty finally came to an end when Dino Soldo walked the heck out onto the stage alone, carrying his instrument and stepping up to the microphone to deliver the news that everyone had been dreading. The saxophonist confirmed to the quieted room that the frontman was simply not feeling well enough to continue, and that the remainder of the performance would have to be officially canceled. He expressed his deep regret to the audience on behalf of the entire production, stating that additional information regarding ticket refunds or potential rescheduling dates would be made available to the public in the coming days. As the announcement echoed through the sound system, a mixture of disappointment and profound concern washed over the crowd, and audience members slowly began to file out of the venue. Approximately 15 minutes after the band had initially exited the stage, the grand celebration had ended not with a thunderous encore or a standing ovation, but with an empty stage and a crowd of worried fans exiting into the cool Minnesota night. The reality of the cancellation hit hard for many, especially those who had traveled significant distances or had waited a lifetime to see the legend perform live for the very first time. The immediate reaction outside the arena and across social media platforms was a complex blend of frustration, disappointment, and deep, heartfelt empathy for the aging performer's health. One particularly disappointed audience member spoke to local reporters outside the venue, describing the sudden and unexpected end to the highly anticipated show as completely horrible. The fan vented their frustration, explaining that they were super bummed because this was supposed to be their very first time seeing the legendary artist live, jokingly adding that they themselves were getting old and feared they might not get another opportunity. This sentiment was shared by many in the crowd who understood that opportunities to see artists of this stature are becoming increasingly rare and precious as the years pass by. Yet, alongside the natural disappointment of a canceled night out, the overriding sentiment among the fan base was one of intense concern for the singer's long-term well-being and recovery. Observers on social media pointed out that the performer had been signaling his discomfort throughout the earlier portions of the evening, praising his professionalism for attempting to push through the dizziness as long as he humanly could. The sudden halt to the opening night of a major national tour sent shockwaves through the music community, raising immediate questions about the grueling nature of modern touring schedules and the immense pressure placed on legendary artists to deliver flawless performances night after night, regardless of their physical condition. The sudden disruption of this opening night performance highlights a broader, deeply touching narrative regarding the incredible journey of Lionel Richie, a man whose musical legacy has solidified him as one of the most successful and enduring figures in the history of global popular culture. To fully understand the weight of this moment, one must look back at the extraordinary trajectory of a career that began in the late 1960s, when he first burst onto the scene as a founding member and driving force of the Commodores. Emerging from Tuskegee, Alabama, the group blended tight funk rhythms with smooth soul melodies, quickly rising to prominence under the legendary Motown label. As the principal songwriter and co-lead vocalist, he was responsible for crafting some of the most iconic hits of the era, transitioning effortlessly from the hard-driving groove of Brick House to the soaring, introspective beauty of ballads like Easy and 3 Times a Lady, the very song that would close his performance decades later in Minnesota. His uncanny ability to touch the hearts of millions with simple, profoundly honest lyrics and unforgettable melodies soon made it clear that his artistic vision extended far beyond the boundaries of a group dynamic. When he eventually chose to embark on a solo career in the early 1980s, he did not merely succeed. He launched himself into a stratosphere of commercial and critical success that few artists in human history have ever achieved. His self-titled debut solo album and the monumental follow-up, Can't Slow Down, became global phenomena, generating an unbroken string of chart-topping singles including Truly, Hello, and the infectious festive anthem All Night Long, which became the definitive track of a generation. His staggering achievements during this golden era included winning multiple Grammy Awards, an Academy Award for Best Original Song, and co-writing the historic charity single We Are the World alongside Michael Jackson, an endeavor that united the music industry and raised millions of dollars for humanitarian aid. In recent years, he has introduced his warmth, wisdom, and immense experience to entirely new generations of music lovers through his prominent role as a beloved judge on the hit television series American Idol. Showcasing a rare longevity that keeps him deeply embedded in the cultural consciousness of the 21st century, this current joint venture, aptly titled the Sing a Song All Night Long Tour, was envisioned as a monumental celebration of that very longevity, pairing him with the legendary funk and disco pioneers Earth, Wind, and Fire. The combination of these two musical powerhouses represented an absolute dream lineup for aficionados of classic soul and rhythm and blues, promising an evening of unparalleled musical craftsmanship and nostalgic joy. Earth, Wind, and Fire, celebrated globally for their dynamic horn sections, complex rhythms, and timeless hits like September, Shining Star, and Fantasy, had delivered a spectacular high-energy opening set that Wednesday evening, setting a standard of performance that perfectly warmed up the arena. The massive 26-city summer tour was designed to sweep across North America, stopping at major sports arenas and entertainment capitals through the middle of August, drawing hundreds of thousands of eager spectators along the way. The immense scale of such an undertaking requires a staggering amount of logistical coordination, physical preparation, and mental focus, presenting an exceptional challenge for any touring production, let alone one fronted by artists who have been performing for over 50 years. The rigorous travel schedule, changing climates, demanding vocal requirements, and the sheer physical exhaustion of performing for multiple hours each night can combine to create a perfect storm of physical strain. This reality makes the dedication of these legendary performers all the more remarkable, as they willingly subject themselves to the grueling demands of the road out of a profound love for their craft and an unbreakable bond with their audience, who view these concerts as rare opportunities to witness living history in the immediate aftermath of the abrupt cancellation in St. Paul. The music world and mainstream media outlets scrambled to gather more definitive information regarding the singer's health status and the future of the scheduled tour dates. Prominent entertainment publications reached out extensively to the artist's official representatives and public relations teams for comment. But the initial hours following the incident were met with a protective silence as his inner circle focused entirely on his medical evaluation and immediate recovery. This lack of immediate communication naturally fueled an undercurrent of anxiety among the fan base, as onlookers scrutinized his upcoming schedule to see if the physical toll would force a longer hiatus from the stage. The tour production was facing an incredibly tight turnaround, with the very next performance scheduled to take place at the iconic United Center in Chicago, Illinois, just 48 hours after the medical emergency in Minnesota. In the highly competitive and time-sensitive world of arena touring, a sudden cancellation sets off a complex chain reaction of venue rebookings, massive financial adjustments, and logistical rerouting. But the primary focus of everyone involved remained steadfastly on the well-being of the frontman. The incident served as a stark reminder of the fragile human element that lies at the core of the massive, multi-million-dollar live entertainment industry, demonstrating that no amount of advanced technology, flawless staging, or professional production can override the basic physical limitations of the human body. As messages of support and well wishes poured in from fellow musicians, industry peers, and devoted fans across the globe, the collective hope was that this brief period of dizziness was merely a temporary setback caused by dehydration or exhaustion, rather than a symptom of a more serious long-term medical condition ultimately. The events of that dramatic Wednesday night in Minnesota underscore the profound vulnerability that accompanies our most cherished cultural icons as they continue to share their gifts with the world in the later chapters of their lives. Seeing a performer of such immense stature who has spent an entire lifetime embodying effortless grace and boundless energy, forced to pause and sit down on the stage risers, is a powerful and sobering visual experience for audiences. It strips away the larger-than-life persona of the superstar and reminds us that beneath the glittering wardrobe, the historic accolades, and the adoring screams of thousands, there is a human being who feels the heavy weight of time and physical exhaustion just like anyone else. The immense respect that the public holds for these artists only deepens when they witness such moments of raw honesty, where a performer chooses to open up to their audience about their physical limitations rather than retreating behind a wall of artifice. The legacy of this legendary singer is not diminished by a single interrupted performance. Rather, it is contextualized by his extraordinary willingness to keep stepping out under those blinding spotlights, year after year. to deliver the soundtrack of our lives. As the music community awaits further updates and looks forward to his triumphant return to the stage, there is an overarching realization that these live experiences are fleeting, precious moments that should be deeply treasured. The empty